Amen. So, Chairman,
Amen.
will you kindly just share the book?
Yeah.
We
Just
are reading a book, Making of the Symphony Orchestra by Otieno Paul Peter, who is also known as Power Monday on this in this meeting. So currently we are on page
89, I think so.
So Dr. Eda, will you start reading for us?
Well, okay.
What
Where
page
do
are
I
we
go?
on?
Page 89.
Page
Chapter
9.
three.
Mm,
Just a minute.
Getting the bearing,
I
chapter
jumped.
4, the vision thing. Where are you leading them? It was about 13 months. Shall I wait for the screen?
I'll just go on. Oh, no, wait.
I'm almost there. I was there, but then it jumped for whichever reason, but I'm almost there. 89 there. Here. Where is it? Here. Yes.
Where are you leading them? It was about 13 months since the previous general elections in our country, Kenya, when I was writing this chapter. General elections come every 5 years in Kenya. I happen to belong to a WhatsApp group that was created by a team affiliated to one of the parliamentary candidates, through which he organized meetings, rallies, and mobilized funds for his campaigns. He had promised a lot of change and development, and he won the election. The activity of this WhatsApp group then drastically reduced, except for occasional throwing of bitter remarks to the honorable member because he never uttered a word from the time the results were declared. There was no any new initiative, and nothing seemed to be happening despite the increasing despair among the electorate. The gentleman, like many others, appeared to have jumped into leadership without a proper agenda and clear execution strategy. His ultimate desire, in my view, could have been the title honorable and the perk that comes with it. He probably could still be thinking of where to start and what to do. It is a pathetic situation to have a leader without a direction. The scripture rightly puts it in Proverbs 29:18 that where there is no vision, people perish. Lack of a leadership agenda leads to peril, fatigue, and disillusionment. This is the first mistake many people make, getting into a leadership position without an agenda. They are probably motivated by the perks attached to the leadership position, and thus, like a ship without a captain, they wallow aimlessly in the voyage of leadership, most of the times leading to catastrophes. Many such people end up with what I call firefighting. This is to say they will always be reactionary. When they are faced with a problem, they mostly react with anger and show of might. Leaders are limited by their vision rather than by their abilities. Whether it is a symphony orchestra or football team, the first task a leader needs to accomplish is to set an agenda for his or her leadership. A leader ought to know what his or her leadership is meant to accomplish. A leader does not have to accomplish all there is. He only needs to be clear about what he would like to achieve and where to leave the team by the end of his tenure. That, in essence, means that the leader works with the end in mind. Before you aspire for a leadership position, before you jump into leading a symphony orchestra, what is it that you want to do for the orchestra? Will it be better by the time you leave of a sign that you have held the leadership position? Leadership is not a job opportunity. The moment you view it as such, your focus is lost and you will amount to nothing meaningful. View it as a calling to serve and dutifully deliver the service once you have the position. Whatever it is you intend to accomplish, that becomes your signature, your main mission to take up the leadership position, and hence you leave the people you lead better than you found them. If you manage this, your name will be remembered for generations to come. Streets and buildings will be named after you without you asking for it, and many other children yet to be born shall call you by your name. That will solely depend on how well you did your work. And I pass to somebody else.
Chairman, kindly continue.
The power of a great vision. It is important to note that the difference between a great leader and a mediocre one lies in the vision they hold. A great vision inspires more people to follow you. Your conviction draws more support towards you. People buy bigger visions better than they buy smaller ones. As has been said, the best way to eat an elephant is piece by piece, small chops. So have the elephant and then build strategic milestones along the way to help you feast on it. Besides, remember that whatever a man's mind can conceive and believe, he can achieve with a positive mental attitude, said W. Clement Stone. No dream is too big. And so, if you are daring enough, have a great vision for yourself and for your orchestra. A vision, generally speaking, is where you see the orchestra as you look into the future. It is the potential that you see lacking in the team. It is what you set to grow towards. It does not have to happen in your time, but it is something you view as a possibility. Lay strategies to accomplish and sell to the team so that every member individually or communally can work towards it. Vision determines growth. It makes people believe better in themselves and infuse enthusiasm in an organization. A goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. Bruce Lee. Every time I join a particular group, one of the key elements I try to uncover is their agenda, their mission and vision. This usually depends to a very large extent on the leadership. The general mission and vision of any club or organization always determines whether or not I would stay. The moment I joined the choral group I currently belong to, I started asking about this. I must confess that I am yet to get a clear answer, and that explains why the choir is always facing problems despite the good talents that we have. I have stayed there simply because of my own reasons and not much to do with our dream or mission. It is very easy to spot a group that is experiencing problems or one that can collapse anytime. It all depends on the presence and understanding of their mission and shared vision, both of which depend on the leadership. This is true for both business organizations and non-profit making organizations, as well as for volunteer and non-volunteer ones alike. About 2 years ago, two years prior to writing this chapter, I stepped up to lead the management committee of our estate, an apartment building comprising about 300 families. The previous chairman had resigned due to lots of pressure and frustrations from various quarters, possibly including his workplace and stakeholders. I was therefore going to fill in that gap and to represent the owners and investors as the chairman. This was purely a voluntary work by then and continues to be so without sitting allowances or any other privileges. I took it because there was need to take responsibility and align a few things. There were impending projects and renovations, among other tasks to be initiated. The moment I got into office, it did not even bother me who the signatories or the registered directors were. My mission was simple: to ensure the painting work, the project, the water plant treatment, and the CCTV installations were accomplished. There were other issues that required attention, but I did not give them any priority. While the previous chair appeared to be stuck on how to start these projects, citing certain bottlenecks, my mind was very clear on how to go about them. The painting and water treatment projects, which were the most complicated one, were done within the desired period of time and budget. Were it not for emerging problems we had to deal with in the process, we could have finished the CCTV installation within the anticipated timelines for me to be happily retired. But there was no worry because we tendered for it and it was going to be done in less than 2 months. That would officially mark the end of my preconceived goals. It will always be remembered that these things got done during my tenure. I had no interest in this leadership and beyond the successful completion of these projects.
Written in your heart. By talking about mission and vision, I do not intend to mean the one written on paper. Almost every organization tends to have one. I mean what is written in the hearts of the members, something by which they live. It should not be something that no one understands, let alone relates with. A clear and conscious understanding of the organization's missions or purpose and vision, which is where the organization is headed, is very critical in its success. It should even inform the recruitment and members and all the decisions that are made, Why? It is because if our ship is headed to the east, for example, we cannot afford to carry a cargo or an individual bound for the west. If we are in a marathon, we must have marathoners in that race as opposed to having sprinters. This is just as simple as it should be. The mission and the vision of your organization as a leader should be something that you are passionate about, inbuilt within your gene and completely inseparable from you. By that, I mean it must be something you are not only willing to live for, but also die for. Remember that a leader is a salesperson who always sells the vision and the mission and gets people to buy him and from him. They buy you first before they buy anything from you. If you find something that is able to inspire you that much, you are going to find it easy making others believe in it. You'll find it easy moving a crowd. This is because people will always buy your enthusiasm, which means that you must first and foremost be able to have a mission and a vision for yourself.
I think that's where we should
Yes,
stop right now, right?
that is the end for today. Karibu sana. So the first question I want to pose for us, all of us who are here, do you have a vision and a mission for your life? Because remember, before people will buy from you, they have to buy you first. But we cannot buy you if you cannot buy yourself. So that's whatever you want to do. If you are someone else, would you buy from you? So I cannot go to buy something from you, something that you have not in yourself endorsed it, something that you have not in yourself convince yourself that this thing is so buyable. So do you have a vision for your life? Do you have a mission for your life? And remember, it's not just that written one. I remember sometime last year, towards the end of last year, every fortnight I write reports for the organization. So I used to write reports, and the end of it all, I tell people to pray for the women who are in all our programs, to pray for the women who are in our post-abortion programs, to pray for the women in crisis pregnancy, to pray for women who have not yet come out to get their healing for post-abortion trauma. And then I would add, and also pray for our country. Now, it is not bad to pray for our country. It is very good to pray for our country. Actually, it is our mandate to pray for our country. But you see, at the end of the day, in the vision and the mission of Pulse is not about the country. It is about this post-abortive woman, this particular post-abortive woman. And so I remember having a meeting with Akechi, and she was telling me, we should stick to our mission. What is our mission and what is our vision? What is our mission for this organization? What is our mission for this organization? Whom are we targeting in this organization? You see, if it was maybe a prayer movement for the country, then it's very understandable. But here we are dealing with post-abortive women. We are dealing with women in crisis pregnancy. We are dealing with sexuality issues. So it was like, it is a mix-up, but out of I had good intentions for that, but it was not the mission for this organization. So do you have a mission? And can you buy your mission? Can you buy from yourself? Otieno Paul Peter, what was going on through your mind when you're writing this particular script? I mean, I think the first day we met, the very first day we met, there's something that you told me. You told me that Noel leaders are salespeople. You have to sell. You sell yourself first, and then you sell your commodity. You see, if I went to a restaurant and I found the owner who is so dirty, I won't eat from that restaurant. I cannot eat from that restaurant. So, Chairman, what was going through your mind through all this?
I've been practicing leadership and learning about leadership from my childhood, and I always realize that, you know, leaders are very uncomfortable with no progress, when there is no progress. But most of the people you see jumping into leadership are really not interested in progress. Yeah, there are people who are motivated by some other thing, and most times quite selfish. And that is why you'll realize that a leader will join a particular group, and in a short while, they leave. Many people, many organizations lose very important people because these people did not find a fitting mission. There was some broadcasted idea. People are not united. People do not have one thing they are focusing on. And I've seen this in almost every organization I get into. You realize that people are not, most organizations do not have something that they all hold together that they are working on. And so you'll realize that's why I'm using the word firefighting. If I remember the last organization I worked for as an employee, I kept wondering, where are we heading to? Because it was like every other time we were providing internet services. Every other time you see the leadership when there is problem. Yeah, we had some other network is down somewhere, some other base station is down somewhere, and we are people who are firefighting. You know, in leadership, if you are seeing where people are going, you are able to anticipate even the problems and find a way that they should be handled when they come. And so it's not something that scares people or that make people to worry. I've learned that if a leader is not prepared for his or her position, then the moment they get in there, that is when they start thinking, oh, so what will I do? And that's why you see in Kenya, a president or a government that is elected thinks about their legacy when they are like 2 years out, or they are almost out of the office. That's when they start talking of legacy. It means they did not even have it in the first place. They were selling some manifestos which they did not believe in. They themselves did not even understand them. You see, so a leader is meant to make lives better. And wherever you've led somewhere, people should be able to say that before he or she was here, this is where we were. But by the time he left or she left, this is where he left us. You see? So we should be able to see progress, and that progress is always hinged on our vision. Where are we going? Where do we want to take these people? Where do we want to leave this organization? And that is why it's important for each and every one of us. And this is very important if it is something intertwined, it's something that we really have in our hearts, that this is what I love, this is what I'm passionate about, I'd like to see it achieved. And if we only had leaders like that in our politicians, in our churches, in our various organizations, people who see progress, we would be very far. That's why you compare Israel today as a country, a small, tiny country, somewhat in a desert, is always progressing because they know where they are going. They somewhat have clearer vision. Developed countries have always developed some clear vision of where they are going, and everyone who plugs in, a leader who comes in is coming in to push that vision to take people further towards accomplishing that. But most times we realize that a project is started because and it's associated with that particular leader. It was not well sold. It was not part of the big vision or the main objective of the organization. And so people quit. If you want to inspire people, you will inspire them with a goal that you want to be achieved, the vision that you are able to see. And that's why we are talking about people buying you. If they've bought that enthusiasm that you have, they will not quit you. You will not be paying them anything, but they will be willing to follow you anyway. And this is very important even for non-profit organizations and volunteer organizations where people are generally volunteering. What is it that is keeping them there? How will they keep contributing strongly into the objective, into the vision of the organization? It's because they've bought it. Everyone knows where people are going. I've been in organizations where everyone is fighting because there is no agenda. Everyone is bringing in an agenda according to his or her own ideas, and people are fighting. People defocus, they start fighting every battle around instead of choosing their battles. This is what we are going for. This is where we are headed, and these are the resources that we require. So my passion there is every leader needs to set up an agenda. This is my agenda for leadership when I get into this office. And when they get in, they should ensure that it is achieved. And for people who campaign into leadership, they should be able to sell that agenda and be able to accomplish it. Remember last week we were talking about keeping your word being your bond. We've seen people who promise and then they don't deliver, and that's what brings down their integrity. It brings down their reputation. Nobody trusts them. Remember, nobody can follow you if they don't trust you. You cannot lead a people who don't trust you. You see? So we must be people who know exactly what we want to achieve, and by when. And by the way, once we've achieved those things, it's not necessary that we stay in the leadership. Somebody else can have an idea on how to move the organization further. You're muted.
Thank you so much for that insight. I think I'd really want now to pick on people's minds, and I will start with Dr. Jean Kagia. Kindly, I just want to pick your mind concerning this script that we have read, because I know you're one person who sticks to the mission and the vision of what you're supposed to do.
Well, let me say something because I'm just about to log out. Thank you. That was a very, very good introduction. And I agree with him that you have to have a clear vision of who you are. Why are you doing something? Is it just to get a name? Is it just to make money? Or what is the idea? I would say that as a believer, myself is my real mission is to make sure that I do everything for Christ. And I do it in the Christian way. I'm thinking of 2 Timothy 2:15, that you should do your best to present yourself to God, a workman who has no need to be ashamed, but rightly handling the word of truth. So if I know who I am, a child of God, who has married to do something in this world, and I'm doing it because I'm doing it for my Father in heaven, then I know who I am. Therefore, whatever he'll tell me to do, then I'll go ahead and do it. And I'll do it by having a clear vision of what does he want me to do. If he wants me to protect life, as I know that's my mission, what am I going to do? I'm going to see what is this life, what is the problem with life, and what can be improved about that life. And therefore, I'll be able to look for other like-minded people who are Christians and who was to obey God in this mission, vision of protecting life. So I agree, you got to know who you are and you got to know what your mission is, and then carry it out, not according to the people's will, but according to God's will as a believer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maybe just to add on that, I remember talking to a friend of mine about Dr. Kagia, and she was telling me, she once asked Dr. Kagia, do you get tired of what you do? Like at times, do you feel exhausted? And Dr. Kagia told her, no, I don't feel exhausted. Why? Because I stay on the lane of what God told me to do. And as long as I am doing what God told me to do, I enjoy what I am doing. So it's more of purpose. This purpose of a thing has to have a vision and a mission. Dr. Eda Tatu, I'd love to hear your contribution on the same. You are muted.
Sorry, I have to rush to attend to an emergency, so I have to leave. Sorry. Have a good time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kagia. And just know that we do this every Monday at the same time. Asante sana.
Yeah, one of the things that attracted me to the Empowered Youth Coalition was the personality of the founder, who is Sharon Slater. Sharon Slater has written a book which I think everybody should read, and that is Stand for the Family. Because all the problems in the society can be traced to the breakdown of the family. And the family starts with marriage as God intended. So I've been following Sharon Slater and have found her to be very authentic. I'm somebody who's very suspicious of Wazungus because of my traumatic past and my experiences with them. But just following her and seeing her, how she has managed to be a voice for life and the family in a secular world, to the extent that she's given a platform in the United Nations, because her personality is meek, she's mild, but she's not a pushover. She stands up for the truth always. And she always backs her stance, her pro-life and her pro-family stand with statistics and science. So actually what you've said is so true, that people follow a person and the vision. And because her vision was in line with my personal vision, having been a youth who made so many wrong choices that resulted in consequences that were so bad for me, I have this passion to talk to the youth and help them understand who they are, and the fact that there are two kingdoms at play, the kingdom of Satan and the kingdom of God. And if you're not aware, you shall definitely follow the kingdom of Satan, which is secularism, disguised as secularism. So I've so bought into the Empowered Youth Coalition, because my mission and vision is in line with that, about protecting families. And who makes marriages? Marriages come from people in the society. But so many youth are broken by the toxicity in their homes of origin that they need help to come out of themselves and to be healthy people who can enter into a marriage relationship as God intended, once they've dealt with all their emotional baggage. And so me being a mental health professional, I want to help them with that. And obviously this thing will happen will probably come into fruition decades from now. But to plant the seed of hope into a youth who had lost hope, then this person is going to be a future parent, a future spouse. So I see the matriarchs and the patriarchs in every young person I speak to. And because EYC is in line with my vision, and Sharon Slater has led the way, I'm ready to follow her anywhere. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Asante sana. Jackie Njeru, are you at a place where you can speak? I'd love to pick your mind on this.
Yes, I am. Thanks, Noel. I've learned that where there's no vision, the leaders perish, as a good book says, and that every leader must be a salesperson, and I'm happy that I'm a salesperson. So the rest can easily flow, and you should build a brand that if you are the client, you'll buy. So it's a question to me that can I buy my own brand? So I'm still working on it. Thank you.
Karibu sana. Patrick, are you at a place where you can speak? I'd love to know your input in this.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I logged in a bit late, but I, from what the participants are saying, I think I can put in something. My thoughts towards this. I bet it was on mission and vision, because I just found the last screen as I was going to peruse through. It got removed, but nevertheless, from what the participants are saying, for one to have a clear direction, you need to know your purpose clearly. So if you do not understand your purpose, you will end up either following other people's vision or following other people's mission, or even partaking or absorbing other people's values, because you will not be sure of which direction you want to pursue. So as a leader, or if you want people to follow you, or if you want to influence people, the mission that you have or the vision that you tend to possess must be in line with your purpose. Many people ask the question, what is our purpose? I think our purpose, God is the only person who can help you understand really what is your mission and vision. Then from there on, then you can now start working towards that. You will find that along the way, there are so many people who require your help. So if you are working towards your purpose, then you will attract many people on the way. Many people who are stuck, they will either learn from you, or they will ape and see what you are doing for them to get assisted. So as a good leader, you need to have influence on people, and the influence should be good influence or positive influence, so that when they look back, they will remember there's a time I had delayed, but because of this leader who somehow had a good positive effect, I was able now to realize my mission and to realize my vision. Thank you.
You're so much welcome. Asante sana. Melvin Glimmer, you came in a little bit late, but maybe from what people have shared, do you have any contribution?
Yeah, I think
You are muted.
one thing that comes to mind is Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life. So basically what I have to add is that you will find your purpose once you catalog your skills, your knowledge, your exposure, your experience, and your networks. And once you've mapped those out, you can you will discover your purpose, because all of us are made for a purpose. And like OOP is obviously a teacher. He's a teacher, a writer, and a change management professional. So he's found his purpose. I'm an educator, and I I discovered that after a long time. And then now that's my purpose. I can do it with my eyes closed. And therein lies my ability to be a leader. That's all I have to say, Ida. I mean, that's all I have to say, pearls and treasures.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Melvin Lima. My name is Noel.
Noel.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Is there a difference between an educator and a teacher?
Maybe
Um,
Opi will help us with that. Melvin Lima is the one who said. No, Melvin Lima will help us, not Opipi.
okay, according to me, the difference is very subtle. A teacher shoves knowledge down your throat. An educator helps you to internalize it so that you can practice it. It's like this, yeah. So that's according to me. But other people may have different definitions.
OPP, you can now speak. You're
I don't
muted.
think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to say that OPP as a teacher shoves information down our throat. But what I believe is that there's a very big difference between a learned person and an educated person. Which is which? Because there are people with many degrees after their name, but they can't think to save their lives.
Yeah, I
And
think. Uh,
yeah,
Okay.
there's a very big difference between a learned person and an educated person.
mm,
I think we can shelve that topic for another day about those educators, teachers, trainers. But I think, thank you, Melvin, because next week, I think we are going to discuss about mission and a lot to do with it. Today, we are discussing about where we are going to. And that is where the vision is. And you see it's written there that leaders are limited by their vision, not their abilities. Most times, if you know clearly where you're going and you're able to infuse this enthusiasm into other people, somewhat you're going to get the right people on board. People will even volunteer just to be there with you and work with you. I've seen this even with politicians. You see, last general election, we were told about Canaan. Everyone boarded the plane to Canaan. You see, somewhat people bought the idea until I understand there was some crocodiles or something. I don't remember exactly what happened. But let me tell you, if you have a great vision and you share it passionately with people, you will get fanatical support. People just want to be part of that. And I've learned this over the years. Let me give a good example. There is this organization, this company called Neolife International. Neolife was started in 1958. And the founder, then 19 years old, when he picked it up and he called a few people and gave them a talk and told them, we are going to be all over the world. We are going to be in Africa. We are going to be in Asia. We are going to be in Australia. And we are going to be in every family. We will be empowering people and making a positive difference in their lives in terms of health. You see, it was clear, and amongst the people who attended that was somebody called Bill Baines. Bill Baines, now the founder is called Jerry Brasfield. Bill Baines got inspired and picked that vision and said, I'm taking it to Africa. He went and talked to his mother. His mother told him, you see, Africa is a very dry place, it's a very hostile place, you will die there. But he didn't listen because the vision got into his heart. He could see the way it was going to be. And he collected some funds together with a friend of his and went to South Africa. Got some resistivity, but within a couple of weeks, they were able to establish the organization that has been there to date and spread all over Africa. And then he went to Australia and also started it there. How? It was picked from the founder's vision. The founder managed to sell this to them so much that they could not resist it. The same thing we see with Christianity 2000 years later, because they were able to see the vision that Jesus had. You are going to be my witnesses, not only in Jerusalem, but to all Judea and Samaria, and indeed to the ends of the world. And that has been taking place right from the apostolic time to date. If our organization is going to grow, if we are going to have the right people on board, we are going to have to be clear about what vision we are in for. Where are we headed? Our country, do we have a vision? Where are we going to? For our organizations, for our clubs and everything, for ourselves, where are we heading to? The moment we lack that vision, we are going to perish. People perish. And most times, if a leader is radarless, agendaless, missionless, visionless, somewhat, people will not stick with him or her. They will be boarding in and shipping out, getting in, getting out. And most times you will have just the rudiments, the people who really have no agenda in their lives, and they are willing to be anywhere in the marketplace. So they can be there, just like you can have mad people in the market. You see, and that's why, by the way, some groups, I call them marketplaces. There is no clear agenda. People are just there to share a few things, crack some jokes, throw some words, and then they get out to do other things that they think are important for them. So we've got to be leaders who have an idea where we want to take people. We've got to be people who have an idea where we want to take our organization. Most times people will not even understand that you have something good for them. But, and some of them will oppose it. But later they say, I now understand. They say, I once was blind, but now I see. Was lost, but I'm found. And they buy you and they say, if it were not for you, they won't be there. A leader thinks of other people. And that's why we are saying it's not a job, because you're sacrificing something to take people somewhere. And it has more fulfillment than just if there are pay or perks or whatever, some allowances. Leadership has more fulfillment when we get to understand what we are in for and what we end up achieving. That's why we still have memories of Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, Jesus Christ, and all these other people, because of the vision that they had and how they were able to inspire people to follow it. You see, it said that Mahatma Gandhi mobilized over 200 million people. No military, no anything, whatever, just the. Yes.
Thank you so much. I think I'll pose a question to all of us. Remember, as a leader, you are a seller. You're a seller of this mission, you're a seller of this vision. You're the salesperson. And remember, from the beginning, we say that you cannot lead other people if you can't lead yourself. You have to lead yourself first, then you can go out there and lead other people. So throughout the week, I want you guys to go and just be thinking, sit down, think, give it a thought, and ask yourself, do you have a vision and a mission in your life? Where is your life headed to at the end of the day? Because guys, we cannot lead these big organizations or even small organizations or even our own family, because it starts from I and then the family. You see, you can't lead your family if you do not have a personal vision and a mission yourself. So ask yourself, what is my vision? What is my mission? Just sit down and go through it. So I would love to invite Kabiria. Kindly share with us what is on your mind about the script that you have read today. And thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Wow, good morning. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think I joined the latest. Please forgive me. But yeah, I concur with what we are presenting, because faith-based content is so easily compromised. It is my drive to present the gospel of Jesus Christ as the solution to the biggest problems facing Africa through education, literature, and fellowship. That is my personal vision. That is something I I was able to crystallize, I think, in 2017, 2018. And it's really helped me to think clearly about what specific things I can do, what specific direction I should invest my gifts and my time and my energy and even my resources. And I'm also almost 2 years in marriage with a small daughter. And I think it's so important in that little time I've experienced family and leading a home. It's really important to be clear about one, who you are and what you really want to do. You know, life is so short. It's so unbelievably short. And we can be wasted in chasing paychecks or chasing things and stuff. And the kingdom is still at hand. I think the beauty for me, just in conclusion, is that if you have risked anything, you would rather risk it for the sake of the kingdom. And there's not only your reward in heaven, but there's a great liberty that comes with actually just stepping out and pursuing whatever it is God has placed on your heart. And that is probably the most satisfying thing. I think if you're able to wake up and say, I really love what I'm doing, and I know this is something God gave me to do, and I will do it with all the strength that He has enabled me, I think there's something so refreshing about that. You would approach life in quite a different way if we had that. So thank you so much. That is the end of my comment.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I beg to stop there. I know I've taken 1 minute of your time, and I know all of us have not contributed. Kindly bear with me, with us, because we have limited time, but promise, next week, hey, you're the ones who are going to run the show. Promise, promise, promise. So thank you for joining us. We do this every Monday from 7:30 a.m., but you can log in as early as 7 a.m. The session is already on, just to network. You never know whom you're going to meet. Maybe you're going to meet your next client here. I mean, maybe this is the place that you're going to make your next million, billion, trillion, and everything. You just never know. And apart from that, you see, this is knowledge. Otieno Peter charges people to go and talk to them. But guys, this is free knowledge that he is giving us. Like, he is pouring himself out for us. So leave alone even the money that you can make from this or anything, but just learning from someone, my goodness, there's nothing that can be compared to that. Otieno Peter, we really appreciate you for that. We thank you for just pouring your heart to us and just deciding to mentor us, because to me, I see this as a leadership mentorship. Thank you so much. And so I want to request Chris to kindly pray.